You're on the road beyond. I'm Todd Duplantis. Welcome to our audience out there. We're live on Facebook this evening. It's good to have you with us. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, a bit of a break over the summer for a few months, and it certainly is good to be back. I've got a new studio I'm working out of, well, basically a new apartment. And joining me tonight is our producer, Scotty Barrett. Scotty, it's good to be back and see you. Do you like the new digs behind me?
Oh, I like the new digs. I really do. Well, it's good to see you, Todd. And
it's good to be back.
Great to be back with everyone. We've got some old friends joining us tonight. George Gele. George, how are you?
Let's see. There? George's microphone's still muted there. There's George.
Never mind.
Hey, George.
I'm doing great, but I'm doing better.
We're going to talk about our mysterious underwater city.
Yes.
And we'll get with you in a few minutes. And of course, on top of that, we've got our old friend, Amanda Thomas, Murder Geek 7. Amanda, how are you tonight?
I'm great. How are y'all doing?
Good. Well, what are we going to be talking about with you tonight? We're going global, right?
Yeah. We're going to be talking about the Paris Catacombs and the Forbidden City in China.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get going. But first, we've got a great announcement to make. And Todd, you'd like to introduce us to our new co-host.
Yeah, Scotty, we have a new addition to our show. Joining me now is our new co-host. I've known her for a few years, Kat Franzmeyer. Kat and I have known each other for a while. It's good to have you with us on the show, Kat.
Hey, Todd, thanks. It's so great to be here with everybody. I'm so excited to be part of this and, these great episodes with some really great, hearing from some really interesting people and some fabulous, bizarre news. So thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
All right. So we're going to get to you in a second because I know you got some news you're going to talk about. But on to the bizarre news of the week. Okay, folks, a story that's been making the rounds all across the internet. We're still here in broadcasting live. So obviously we've avoided and survived imminent catastrophe. But scientists have been keeping an eye on solar flares aimed at hitting the Earth. That's right. Solar flares taking us all out. Scotty, you've been following the story. You want to give us a brief update on what's going on?
Okay. Now, solar flare activity has really blossomed over the last 2 months. And tomorrow we're going to see a 95% chance of an increase in the so-called C-class solar flare activity. Now, that's not the worst out there, not the X-class, but it's still very, very active. And Kat, you've been looking into this. What do you know?
I think your mic's muted, Kat.
Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah. So, Scotty, it's not just the solar flare activity. It's also the solar wind activity on the surface of the sun in these so-called corona holes.
Okay. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Corona holes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's look at them.
That's what we're going to go with. Corona holes. Okay. Yeah. Just want to make sure we got that right. You can't just say corona holes and not expect me to say anything about it. Okay, Kat, Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's in these corona holes on the sun that generate solar winds that carry those flares. So now these solar winds travel at two different speeds towards Earth, generated by the difference in the temperature and pressure on the sun's surface and the corona holes. So you see those dark irregular holes in these pictures? The infrared picture taken by Skylab back in 1990. So the solar winds, the solar winds can travel at two different speeds. The slower speed winds are up to 250 miles per second.
That's
and the faster winds are up to 600 miles per second.
You've got corona holes blowing solar winds?
Solar winds. Yep. At two different speeds.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right. Keep going.
So it's this electromagnetic nature of these winds that affect power grids here on Earth, satellites, and even cell phone traffic. So it's pretty big stuff. So to monitor the increasing,
Now we can make the excuse and let it go to voicemail.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So to monitor the increasing solar flare activity, we need to consider other global warming. So let's look at Antarctica.
Oh. Yeah.
Now they're spring. Things will be heating up very soon. By late December, it will be endless night there. So that brings us to this giant chunk of ice known as Thwaites Glacier, the Doomsday Glacier. So here it is.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a big corona hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the size of Florida, and it's melting much faster than predicted last year.
We looked at this last year, and now it's melting even faster.
Yeah. This giant hunk of frozen water is melting fast and can increase global sea levels. So get this, by more than 3 to 10 feet.
Okay, so that would cover most of Florida. I guess that's why they call it a Doomsday Glacier. But I'm sorry, but they've been telling me since like I've been in 7th grade that the world was going to flood and we were going to run out of fossil fuels. So that ain't happened so far. But okay, all right. But okay. We'll see what happens. I got to watch out for those corona holes and the solar winds.
Yeah, corona holes.
Well, we might be a waterfront property in Houston. Right?
Exactly. Go buy up all the inland property of Florida because that'll soon be the beach. Okay.
Might be good advice.
All right. You got another story for us, Kat?
Yeah. So this next story comes to us via the Daily Mail. Do you believe in vampires? Well, apparently in Europe, they are a big deal. So here, take a look at this picture. Archaeologists in Poland have come across skeletal remains of a woman who was pinned to the ground with a sickle pinned around her throat. And a padlocked toe.
What was the toe going to do? I get the sickle around the throat.
I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows? And I don't know who can answer that question.
I don't know. We got to find
an accessory.
Okay.
Yeah, it's maybe.
It's like, okay, well, at least we got the toe down. So, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody can answer that question, but there was a padlock toe. The 17th century discovery was found in the village of Pien in Poland. And the archaeological team leader says the skeletal remains had a silk cap on its head, indicating she had held a high status and a protruding tooth.
So she had a bad tooth. They thought she was a vampire, stuck her in the the put a padlock on her toe and a sickle around her neck. Okay, got it.
She had a protruding tooth. Yes, I don't know.
Okay, got it.
I don't know. Yes. Okay. So the local folklore claims ways to protect against the return of the dead include cutting off the head or legs, placing the deceased face down to bite into the ground, burning them, and smashing them with a stone. Gosh.
Nothing about a stake through the heart, but okay. All right.
Nothing about a stake through the heart, but other not.
That's only Hollywood.
Yeah.
Not so pleasant, but yeah, they had it down.
Yeah.
So the sickle placed around the neck in such a way that the deceased had tried to get up. Get this. They most likely the head would have been cut off or injured.
And if that didn't work, we got the padlock on the toe.
That's padlock on the toe.
A fatal necklace.
Does it surprise you that this originated in Poland? Okay, go ahead. Anyway.
I don't know. But Poland is no stranger to the vampire legend. In 2015, in the village of Drusko, numerous similar graves were found nearby in 2015 with skeletons pinned to the ground. So
wow. Okay. All right. Okay. On to something a little different. Okay, kids, we've been gone for a while, but Bigfoot seems to have been making the rounds on the internet. At least he's been active in the crypto hotspot of Idaho. Take a look at this video. Call the kids, wake the neighbors, go check this out. This video was posted on YouTube. There you go. Look at this. August the 25th, it went viral once it was posted to the Coast to Coast AM website. And yes, it appears to show what looks like a massive, elusive Bigfoot taking a stroll through the woods. In the next few months, we're going to have Ken Gerhard, crypto expert, on this show. He'll give us his take on this. Kat, what do you think of this whole thing?
You know, it's just... there he is. And what can you say? I saw him up in Washington State. He travels far and wide.
You're from Washington State. You saw a Bigfoot.
Yes. There's a mountain pass that you go over, and there's a big telescope. And if you just stay there long enough, a couple days watching through the telescope, you might see a dark figure coming through. And I saw a dark figure coming through. So
I was born in Seattle, Kat.
Yeah.
And I was
right on.
raised in Vancouver.
You've had your
British Columbia.
experience with Bigfoot too. Yeah.
Yeah, I had an
Okay,
experience when I was a little Queen Scout in Canada
Yeah.
at Black Tusk, where I saw, and we also talked with our other Bigfoot people about the fact that I kind of suppressed the memory of it, and they did too. And we're
It's
just
a
wondering
phenomenon. Yep.
if Bigfoot is a little smarter than we think he is and can interfere with our short-term memory in some way with a psychic blast or something.
Well,
yeah,
okay. I got a problem with this video. Okay.
Okay.
First off, why the hell do we only have about 10 seconds of video? I mean, you've made what could be the most important discovery in the history of cryptozoology, and you got your cell phone and you get 10 seconds worth of it. No, I just don't believe it. Come on. I don't think it's true. So anyway, that's just my take. Well,
what do you think, Todd? Do you think it's a guy in a suit roaming around, or, you know?
Well, it's I don't know. It's awfully strange that we only got 10 seconds of which could be, you know, I mean, if I see Bigfoot, I'm chasing him down. I'm going to get some video. I'm not just going to take 10 seconds and go, oops, that's it. No, I just think it's a little questionable. That's my take. All right, let's get on with the show. Kat?
Yeah, you got our first guest.
Hey, all right. Hey guys. Yeah. Okay. The first guest says he thinks he has discovered an ancient city under the sea. George Gele, who lives in Louisiana. So you've given this ancient city a name, George. Now, this picture is your dive log, and you've logged more than 40 underwater visits.
Yes.
Now, this picture is a side scan sonar of the underwater city site.
I have a lot of side scan sonar.
Yeah. Now, this picture is or scan shows the city's nestled at the base of Chandelier Island.
Here's my, just happen to have it here. Side scan sonar map.
So one thing, George, for people who haven't joined us before and seen the story, the city is called Cresentis, kind of a play on Atlantis. And being the fact that is, you know, New Orleans is known as the Crescent City, it's somewhat off the coast of New Orleans. Would you equate this type of village that you're finding underwater with something similar to what Atlantis is or suspected to be?
I would say that I'm going to go out on a limb, but I'm going to say it's a sister city.
Okay. And
the reason I say that is because it's mathematically positioned. Cresentis is on the straight line with the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Right.
And in the material that we're going to offer to some of your people, they'll be able to see that there's a magical relationship across the globe of what I call spiritual centers. And Atlantis is one of those. And the one that I have that's Cresentis is, you're correct. It was after 40-something years of not being able to find any reference to this city, I decided I would name it. And so I named it after the Crescent City, and partly to Atlantis for a Cresentis. I ended with tis.
Right.
So, but yeah, Cresentis is a magical place because it is composed of actually billions. It has to be billions of granite stones, and we had the stones identified and by the state archaeologist. He sent it out, and it found curiously that the stones for this city near New Orleans were actually quarried in Minnesota.
I remember you telling us at that time, last time you were on the show. So we've got, and was there, correct me if I'm wrong, was there some weird electromagnetic activity that was happening over the site that people have experienced as well?
Oh, yes. It's an area that we call the energy tornado, and it's incredibly strong. It's an electromagnetic vortex, and a man who spent 40 years doing magnetometer work for Subsea International, he was one of the world's best. He went out there and I put him directly on top of the site, and it broke his equipment. It was that strong. He said he'd never seen anything that strong in 30 years. So we have a site out there that we don't really know what it is, but the only thing that, as an architect, that I know that can produce that kind of stuff is a pyramidal structure in terms of just the shape. So all I know is that there is an electromagnetic field out there that I have put 3 vessels on over a 10-year period, and all of their equipment went haywire.
Wow.
The second thing is that 2 years ago, unfortunately, it was a seaplane crashed, and we went back through the history of it and where they flew, and they were caught in a storm, and they flew directly over the top of this structure, lost their engine power, and they crashed.
Wow.
I want the state of Louisiana to identify this as a natural hazard of some kind, and let's buoy it. And I think it's also an electromagnetic, it's a free energy device for the state of Louisiana. That's incredible.
Well, George, what you're also describing is something that are common occurrences of what happens over the Bermuda Triangle. I mean,
Right.
with plane crashes, weird electromagnetic activity. It sounds like very similar what people report when they have incidents over the Triangle.
It's very similar. It's not as well known, obviously, but I can tell you that if a researcher goes to the coordinates that I have, okay, and we found this originally through the very first satellite photograph taken of Louisiana in 1972. And that's how long ago we've been working on it. Basically, it's an incredible energy vortex that needs to be explored and needs to be utilized by the state.
And that energy vortex comes out of is there pyramids? There's a pyramid down there.
I believe that what is the source of this is a pyramidal structure that is covered with sand and comes almost to the top. The water over there is only 20 feet deep, but there's something that's below that in that sand that's creating an incredible vortex. It's a natural resource that's unlike anything else we know.
Now, George, you were seeking help with this. You'll take people out there to go fishing, of course, but you're seeking help financially to do this excavation of that entire area, and it's large, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's bigger than the area. Let's clarify. The energy tornado is not the one we're referencing here. The one that we are dealing with on the Archaeological Commission, and we're going to be seeing them tomorrow. But on the commission, that's an area of granite blocks, square blocks. There you go. Upside down, but it's there. It's an area of, and in comparison, if you can go to the comparison between the site and the Superdome, that'll help.
Yeah, we've got that picture.
Okay. The site is incredibly large, and the good old Mississippi River has moved and dumped its silt all for thousands of years. And it basically has protected a world-class city that's made out of granite. And nobody knew it was there other than the shrimpers. They knew that something was wrong because they kept pulling up square stones. And I talked to them about it, and I said, what are you doing with the square stones? And as they say in Cajun, they say, we throw them back. And you throw them back. I said, why are you throwing back? He says, because I ain't fishing for no stones. I'm fishing for shrimp. I said,
hey, George, show us some of those artifacts that you've collected. Hey, show and tell. Look at this.
And once again, if you're just joining us, we're talking to George Gele, an architect and archaeologist in Louisiana, who believes he's found a civilization.
I'm an amateur archaeologist.
Louisiana, amateur archaeologist.
And some people say we used to be an amateur architect, but I am a real architect, but an amateur archaeologist. This is one of the things that we found 11 years ago, and this is a flat surface You see the ridge. This is not stone. This is poured, 2 different pours to form this shape. And we've gone through a lot of stuff. And this thing right here is actually a rain gutter, and people can see. Okay.
How long ago was this city there? You're saying 10,000 years?
Okay, this is the great debate. First off, they used to say that the city never was there. Well, I think I've proved that a city is there now. So the only time that it could be dated, first off, we haven't found anything that's carbon. I'm looking for some carbon stuff at the bottom, but I don't have it. You can't carbon date a rock, okay, or a stone. Yeah. But 12,000 years ago, the Earth, for some reason, tilted 15¼ degrees, changed the angle, and you talk about the glaciers. There were glaciers in United States that were 2 miles thick, and that 15-degree angle changed the relationship and started melting those glaciers. And what happened was that the outer continental shelf, which was dry, then got flooded by 300 to 350 feet of water.
And that is around the time the
Great Deluge happened. The last 20 feet of that in Chandeleur Sound. So we're finding actually the tops of buildings that are sticking their little heads up out of the sand.
Okay.
George Gele, George, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We're going to have some links in our social media posts to reach you. What would be the best website they can find you?
ARCEXPLORCIONS.com. And there are a number of downloads that are at that website as well. But that is our
explorations.com. All right. George, thanks for being here. We wish you continued success with your findings.
Well, I do want to call attention to the people in Houston and in the New Orleans area. Can you put back the image that shows the comparison between Cresentis and the Superdome?
Yeah.
If you could put that up, and then I'll leave.
There we go.
Okay. 2 great buildings. This is in the, this information plus a lot of other stuff is in the Cresentis found document that I want you to send to your people. But this is a comparison between Cresentis, which is this is the latest imagery that we have of this thing, and that's 1,300 feet across. And at the same latitude is the Superdome, and it's 900 feet. And if you continue this line going east, you will bump into Egypt at Giza. The Great Pyramid of Giza is 1/3 of the way around from this. And midway between those 2 points, I tell you that is where the central city of Atlantis is. So if people get the stuff, the documentation, they can look for themselves.
George,
give you the coordinates. You can go find Atlantis if you want.
We'll go look for Atlantis next week. I've got a busy week this week. Next week I have time to look for Atlantis. We'll do that.
Okay, that'd be
Thanks, George. We appreciate it. Thanks for being here tonight, George.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
All right, we're going to move on and check in with one of our favorite guests. Of course, Amanda is joining us. She is Murder Geek 7, known on TikTok. Kat, are you familiar with Murder Geek 7?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to hear from Amanda, for sure.
Hi.
Good to see you, Amanda. What you got for us tonight?
I think we're going to talk about the Paris Catacombs and also the Forbidden City in China. So,
all right, let's talk Paris Catacombs first, because that's always interesting. Then we'll get to the Forbidden City. So we got a few minutes that we can talk about Paris.
Awesome. So am I talking about the TikTok?
Yeah, let's do it.
You've probably all heard of the catacombs in Paris, France.
We're rolling it.
But have you ever heard of some of the legends behind them? During the French Revolution, a man named Philibert Asbert, and I said that wrong, was a doorman at a local hospital. He was sent down into the cellar to get a bottle of liquor. Instead, he went into the catacombs where he got lost. His body was found 11 years later, and he was buried in the same place he was found. Now it is said that on every November 3rd, his ghost haunts the catacombs. In 2004, police were searching some of the unknown tunnels of the catacombs. They stumbled upon something strange. They found a PA system with a pre-recorded dog barking, a bar, a lounge, a workshop, and even a theater that could seat up to 20 people. The ceiling of the theater had cameras pointed at them, and they were recording them. When they went back a few days later, everything was gone, but a note was left saying, "Don't search." And one legend says that after midnight, the walls of the catacombs begin to speak to you. The disembodied voices urge you to go deeper and deeper into the catacombs, where you'll eventually get lost and never be found again. So would you explore the catacombs of Paris? Let me know in the comments and follow for more creepy stories.
So is that the...
Okay. All right. So, Amanda, we're running out of time. We're going to have to do the Forbidden City next time and get you back on the show for the Forbidden City. I'm sorry about that. We're running out of time. Real quickly, though, what are you up to in your subscribers now or followers?
Oh, like 167,000, I think, is where I'm
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll pick up a few more 100,000 after the show tonight. So we can get you going on that.
It's overwhelming, but such a blessing. It's been a wild ride.
Amanda, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for always being here. We want to get you on the show again, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Amanda. All right, Kat, we're going to wrap up the show because we're quickly running out of time. But you can find us on Facebook and Twitter as the Road Beyond Podcast. We also have a new Road Beyond Podcast Facebook group, Kat.
Yeah, right on. So please join us and leave some comments and questions and maybe some ideas for some shows in the future. What would you like to see?
Follow us on TikTok as the Road Beyond Podcast or at Road Beyond Podcast, and on Instagram at Todd Duplantis65 for more updates. And also make sure to subscribe to the Road Beyond Podcast on our YouTube channel. All right, Scotty, we'll see you next week. Kat, good job for your first one. We'll see you next week as well, right?
Thanks so much, guys. Love being here.
All right. We'll see all of you again next week on the Road Beyond Podcast. Have a great one.